Yo, diggity dogs, it's me, AJ Beast. Welcome back to another video on this channel, and welcome to episode 2. It's not going to be an episodic series, but it's the second video I'm making of Wrestling with Beast, where I talk about the weekly going-ons in wrestling, primarily WWE, but I might start watching other stuff and reviewing that if you're interested. But, yeah, if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe if you are new, because I would love for you to join the family. And with that, let's get straight into it. As you guys know or not know, I'm going to be posting these every Wednesday, and I actually do plan on having a predictions video tomorrow on Thursday, so hope you go over to that. I'm going to try to make that one shorter because my WrestleMania ones were very long. And I felt like I was just rambling a lot. So anyways, with that, let us start with talking about some sad news, as the New Day and Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods have left WWE. Now, they have not been released. That is one thing that's been going around that is completely false. They didn't get released. They essentially left and parted ways with WWE. So ultimately, I'm upset, mainly just because I love the New Day. I love Xavier Woods. I always thought he could have had at least like one big singles push. Maybe not the world title, but at least like the Intercontinental title. I see him as a great Intercontinental champion if they gave him the ball. And with Kofi Kingston, I have so many memories with that dude. Obviously, my first WrestleMania I ever watched was WrestleMania 35. And I was there during the build-up to Kofi Mania, and the match, I remember my raw reaction to everything that went down that night, and that one made me the most emotional because, you know, I just think he was like the third or second black WWE or African American WWE champion or something like that. And I don't know, I hold that reign dear to, like, close to my heart because I love Kofi Kingston so much. Was it the best title reign? Probably not, but I still look at it fondly. I tend to erase the ending of that title reign. You know, it's been memed to hell and back with you know, Brock Lesnar coming out, and the funny thing is his New Day brother in Big E also lost the WWE title to Brock Lesnar. So it's just any New Day member win the world title. Shoot, if Xavier Woods did end up winning the Intercontinental title, you probably hear dun, 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 dun. that would have been that would have been very sad. I would have cried. Hey y'all, this is editing AJ, and I wanted to mention something about the New Day and maybe a reason as to why exactly they are leaving. And it seems like WWE or TKO, whoever the heck it is, are asking a lot of superstars for pay cuts of their contracts. And there's even a source going out there about someone being asked to have a 50% pay cut of their contract. To put that into perspective, say a superstar is getting paid $1 million, $1 million in their contract, and WWE or TKO, whoever the heck, comes in and says, hey, let's take 50% of that. Could you do that for us? Mind you, that's taking $500,000 from these wrestlers' hands. And I know you probably have the thought process of, oh, they're rich. What do they need that extra $500,000 for? I want to let you know that a good portion of their money is for their travel. A good portion of that money is on their travel. WWE does not give them money for gas or plane tickets or hotels. They don't do that. So ultimately, part of this contract is all mainly for travel and everything like that. Like, WWE wrestlers have like 1 or 2 days out of the weeks to go home and just chill. So ultimately, this cut can severely, especially if you're not getting paid $1 million and you're getting paid less money. Like, it's just insane. But yeah, let's give it back to, recording AJ. Love you guys. But anyways, yeah, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods have officially left the building, and honestly, I think I agree with a lot of people when they say tag team wrestling is dead. It truly feels like it. We lost the Motor City Machine Guns. We also lost Tongaloa and JC Mateo. They really didn't do much. And honestly, I just feel like the whole setup of the MFTs was so rushed to the point where no one got fleshed out in that group, and ultimately it was just Solo and his... They have just as much storyline backstory as just security, pretty much. But yeah, and then I heard that Tama Tonga might also be leaving. That's not been confirmed from what I know, but I have heard that that could happen, and I would be really sad to see that. I've also heard that they could possibly be releasing Shinsuke, which honestly I feel like that's something they probably should have done a long time ago. Not because Shinsuke's bad, but because WWE's bad. That's the main thing. But yeah, I wanted to talk about SmackDown though. And let's change the color. There we go. If you couldn't tell, the original color was purple. This is blue. I promise you that the other one is purple. If you fight me in the comments, I'm gonna come through the screen and give you that good old slap. That good old slap. But yeah, this is blue. Anyways, SmackDown time. I'm not going to talk about many SmackDown things. Only 2 segments that really caught my eye. If you wanted to hear my short thoughts about other segments on the show, I have shorts on my channel about them. But the main 2 that I want to sit on and talk about is JC Jane and Fatal Influence. They have been... They got a good start going. I'm very interested to see what their first rivalry fully is going to be. It's looking like it might be Charlotte. It looks like it might be Charlotte, Alexa, Rhea versus Fatal Influence, which I wouldn't be surprised if that's the match. And I would honestly have Fatal Influence win that if they do that match. So yeah, I think that'd be an exciting match. Do we really want to see JC Jane be the first challenger to Rhea's title? Because if you ask me, I really want to see JC Jane be the one to beat Rhea Ripley or be Tiffany Stratton. I would love for them to start as champions pretty much with, them all holding gold, like I said before. But yeah, really excited to see what JC Jane and the rest of Fatal Influence have to offer on SmackDown, because they are some of the most interesting characters immediately in SmackDown. No offense to everyone else, it's just I'm very intrigued to see what happens with Fatal Influence. Next up, the second thing I want to talk about, and that is Gunther and Cody Rhodes. So, if you didn't watch SmackDown, which you probably have already, Ricky Saints made his debut to a very weak reaction, I would say. And he basically challenged Cody for a match. And it was so weird seeing Cody Rhodes have a match on SmackDown in the middle of the card. Like, I watched that segment, and then I saw the match later on, and I was like, man, SmackDown's moving pretty quickly if this is the main event already. And then I looked at the show, listings for, the event. And I saw like 5 segments that weren't even done yet. So I was like, oh, wait, this match isn't the main event. I'm so used to Cody being the main event or just not showing up or not wrestling on SmackDown that I just completely didn't realize that he wasn't in the main event. Anyways, he beats Ricky Saints in a very clean finish. I'm not that bothered by that. I know some people are like, oh, you're gonna bury someone if you beat them. First off, losing one match does not change anyone's career. You could have your first match be a loss, and I'm still invested. Kind of like the Sol Ruca situation on Raw. We'll get into that. And secondly, losing to the world champion is not a bad thing, especially if it's your first match on the main roster. Like, Doug, even if freaking Obafemi lost to Roman Reigns right now, I would not be that upset because he is very early in his career and there will be a day where he wins that world title. And maybe it's going to be better off that he does it later on. But yes, after this match, Gunther attacked, insinuating that he's going after the WWE title, which kind of confuses me because the whole storyline with Paul Heyman and facing Seth at WrestleMania and the favor kind of made me think that he was going to try to face Brock or maybe even get a title shot for the World Heavyweight title, which I kind of don't want to see Gunther face off against the World Heavyweight Champion again, which is kind of why I'm happy about this change. Yes, I know full well that Gunther may not win against Cody, but and that's where I'm going with like losing. You can lose in a match. You can lose one match, especially if you're Gunther. It is not a big deal. He has already reached the status of if he retired today, he'd be a guaranteed Hall of Famer. He's a multi-time World Heavyweight Champion. And he's easily put himself in the record books for the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. Those accomplishments alone guarantees a Hall of Fame spot. Not to mention that he spent 800, I forgot how many days exactly, but over 800 days as the NXT UK Champion. He was one of the longest reigning world champions before Roman even had his 1,000-day reign. So ultimately, Gunther has already achieved so much in his career that losing to Cody Rhodes, the Super Cena of today, would not be that big of a deal because it's Gunther and it's Cody Rhodes. And this is a fun match. This is a match that was teased since, I don't even know, like 23's Royal Rumble or 24, whichever one had Cody and Gunther be the last two, and they ended up having like a full 5 to 10 minute match at the end. Props on Gunther for that too, because he was like number 1 or 2, and he went through the whole match and had like a straight up banger one-on-one for the final 2 in that Royal Rumble match. But yeah, ultimately, I'm very excited to see Gunther face Cody Rhodes because I really think this is the best direction for him, because I'm kind of sick of seeing him in the World Heavyweight title scene. Talk about Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca had another kind of, I wouldn't even say debut redo, but she came out for like, you know, the official signing off that she is on Raw. Becky Lynch came out and interrupt the segment by like being upset at Pierce for the stuff that happened last week with the Intercontinental title. And Sol Ruca kind of was just standing there like, excuse me? How about you get out? And Becky's like, do you know who I am? But, yeah, it was very interesting. Yes, I don't like saying botched, but she, you know, she wasn't able to fully do her move the first time, but she ended off hitting the move just fine. So ultimately, I'm excited to see Sol Ruca and whatever she's doing. It definitely seems like they're hinting at a Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca for the Women's Intercontinental title, which I would be very happy to see Sol Ruca win. Mainly because I know that wrestlers who win their titles usually don't lose after their first title or during their first title defense. But Becky's already a 3-time women's Intercontinental champion. I feel like her main event scene has been long overdue. She has been out of it for a while now, and I would love to see Becky Lynch back in the main event. And I feel like the best way to do that would be to have Becky go to SmackDown, just because I just don't feel like a rivalry against Liv Morgan would make much sense. I feel like it would be way better if Becky Lynch had a rivalry with Rhea Ripley for the WWE Women's Championship. But hey, that's just me. I might be wrong, but at the end of the day, I would love to see Sol Ruca be the young up-and-comer to win the Women's Intercontinental title, to potentially make the title even better somehow. Alright, let us go to Obafemi and his open challenge. The one that I predicted correctly. Otis would face him, and it technically was Akira Tozawa who came out to face him, and then was like, no, I'm good. And then Otis would face him in a very short match, which I would like to see him in longer matches. I don't really care who's out there with him. I want to see a long match. There's no credibility that he loses having a long match with someone like Otis, especially if he's winning. You know, like at the end of the day, a win is a win at the end of the day. No one's going to remember how short the match was. No one's going to remember that. They're going to remember that he beat Otis. They might not even remember that. But yeah, ultimately, I'm very excited to see who he faces next in, like, I don't know, maybe Sheamus. I would love to see that match. But yeah, I'm very excited to see that. Everything else other than that on Raw was pretty much setting up to Backlash, which, fair enough. You know, you got the Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu stuff going on, having the contract signing, and the contract signing, the promo was great. I love that. It was really good. It was actually, I feel like crowd-wise, the crowd was still kind of in the middle. Like, I didn't hear that many boos from Jacob Fatu's part of it, because I think people are like, why are we booing a guy whose story is essentially coming from the ground up when everyone else was on top? Like, that kind of sounds bad to be booing that guy. So I guarantee it's probably going to be them booing Jacob Fatu during the match, but yes, I'm excited for this match. I will talk about it tomorrow. You know, we got a pre-recorded segment with Asuka and Io. It was really good. I liked it. Asuka got the miss right in Io's face and everything, and ultimately this match is not as interesting as it was without Kairi Sane, because that was one of the main revolving stories around this feud, was Io trying to save Kairi. But nonetheless, this is going to be a good match either way. I know it is. And yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, there was also Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker's segments. Seth clearly not having any friends, which is... One thing I did want to talk about real quick is the constant appearance of Maxine Dupree being backstage with Austin Theory. Now, this has led me to either two things: Maxine potentially joining the Vision, or Maxine coercing Austin Theory to leave the Vision and potentially side with Seth Rollins. Can Seth have a new faction? Maybe. But this has been something that's been going on for months, so I don't know if we'll ever get the ending of it. Like many greats such as Who Attacked Jacob Fatu and so many others, we will never know. Possibly. Hopefully they'll answer that question. But yeah, that was Raw and SmackDown this week. Well, this past week, technically. SmackDown's coming up on Friday. Like every Friday, but you know what I mean. Anyways, that was pretty much what I wanted to talk about this week. Like I said, I'm going to make a predictions video for Backlash. I'm very excited for this pay-per-view. And I hope you guys are too. Leave a like on this video and subscribe if you are new to this channel, because if you made it to this part of the video and you're not subscribed, well, quite frankly, it's not going to end good for you, buddy. I'm going to send the dawn on you. No, I'm just kidding. But I will elbow drop you off the top rope and hit you with the figure 4 leg lock. And heck, I might even make it a figure 8. We'll see you guys next time. Tomorrow, possibly. I hope you show up tomorrow, because if you don't, you know what's getting to you. Anyways, sorry, long outro. With that being said, though, yo diggity dogs, AJ Beast is out.